Okay, welcome back. This is the 16th recording for ASMR Sleep Station. And I forgot to mention it on the last recording, but you can email, or should we call it Gmail? We should just start calling it Gmail because everybody uses Gmail. You can Gmail me at asmrsleepstation@gmail.com. And I don't care what you write. Say hi. Or give me some feedback. If you've listened to this in the past, then you know that I respond to feedback, usually directly, sometimes indirectly. If you leave an iTunes comment and a rating, then I definitely will read it eventually. I'll have to catch up on episode 17, and if you just send me an email and you don't want me to mention it or say your name or anything, then let me know. Otherwise, I might carelessly, I won't say your email address or your full name or anything like that, but I may carelessly mention any feedback, and I may address you. Some people don't like that, so please let me know, and I'll try to be respectful. If you've never listened to this before, this is just a recording of me whispering anything that I feel like to help you relax. If you don't know what ASMR is, you could Google it. Or you could just relax and stop trying to fulfill your compulsion to understand everything. Or you may not be relaxed. It doesn't work that way for everybody. But I personally think there's a good portion of people that are relaxed by whispering but don't have ASMR. And I think a few of the listeners that have left me feedback have said that they don't have it, but it helps them relax. So hopefully that helps you understand what this is. If you happen to cross it, it's probably very weird if you don't know what to expect. But if you're into ASMR, then I think this is pretty standard. Although lately people are doing some pretty fancy things, and there's actually a few other podcasts. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I wanted to start this because I didn't see many other people doing it, but I think when I started putting them on iTunes, there's two others, and if you look around on iTunes, there's at least some other podcasts that mention it. So I don't know, maybe it's growing in popularity, maybe it's not, but for whatever reason, if you happen to cross it, then there's nothing too strange going on here. It's just meant to help you relax. So I will just start reading from a random Wikipedia article. This is I'm still at the same location as the last recording, so my hope is the background noise isn't distracting and just kind of helps set an atmosphere. It is the sound of cars, just to let you know. Oh, and if it's not relaxing or if this isn't a good recording location, let me know that too. And I'll keep looking for other places. As I mentioned before, where I live is not a good place all the time. It can be sporadically loud, so I'm trying new things. So anyways, getting back to it, this is a random Wikipedia article, and if you didn't know about this, you should do this, because it's kind of fun sometimes. Wikipedia has a link you can click on the left side menu that will take you to a random article. I think it just says random article or something like that. Click that, and you can always find something interesting. This article is on Mary Lou Williams. Her birth name is Mary Elfrida Scruggs, born May 8th, 1910, Atlanta, Georgia, United States. Oh, and before I go on, again, to explain what this is, it's not meant to be entertaining or interesting. It's just me whispering whatever. So, I'm just guessing that random new people are listening to this because the download rate seems to be going up a little bit recently. So, just so you know, I don't think I'm trying to actually provide useful content. This is meant to be droning, or it may interest you, who knows. Anyways, May died May 28th, 1981, at the age of 71, in Durham, North Carolina, United States. Genres: classical, free jazz, hard bop, swing, third stream, big band, and gospel. So I guess this is a musician. Occupations: stride pianist, composer, bandleader, instruments, piano. Years active: 1920s to 1981. Labels: Atlantic, Ash, Brunswick, Circle, Decca, Inner City, Folkways, King, Pablo, Victor, Vogue. Websites: Mary Lou Williams at Rutgers.edu. Okay, so here's the intro. Mary Lou Williams, May 8th, 1910 to May 28th, 1981, was an American jazz pianist, composer, and arranger. She wrote hundreds of compositions and arrangements and recorded more than 100 records in 78, 45, and LP versions. Williams wrote and arranged for such bandleaders as Duke Ellington and Benny Goodman, and she was friend, mentor, and teacher to Thelonious Monk, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, Dad Dameron, Dizzy Gillespie, and many others. Well, that's interesting. I used to have some Duke Ellington records, and I think they're still sitting somewhere in storage. I'm not a huge jazz fan, but I do have some MP3s of Thelonious Monk music and Miles Davis. I actually have some family members who are really into jazz, and I suppose that it's kind of like classical music. There doesn't, at least in the United States, or is what I've observed from people that I know. There's not a lot of people that are just lightly involved with jazz music. Oh, I was gonna say it's like classical. Fans of classical music, oftentimes they're very into it. They're not light listeners. They know a lot about it. They may not be fanatics, but they usually have collections that exceed people who listen to pop or rock music, for example. Or maybe people that aren't collectors and aren't prone to being heavily interested in music end up listening to pop and rock. Now that I think about it, that sounds way more likely. Who knows? Just a theory. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my family members is a huge Miles Davis fan, and there's so much music out there. It's pretty insane. And if you like any music that existed when people were still pressing albums on vinyl, then you know that collecting records, tracking down rare records, rare versions, is a very big part of being a music lover. I'll stop yapping and continue on. I'm gonna try to go for maybe another 5-10 minutes, somewhere around there. Okay. Early years. Born as Mary Alfreda Scruggs in Atlanta, Georgia, she grew up in the East Liberty neighborhood of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of 11 children. As a very young child, she taught herself to play the piano. Her first public performance was when she was 6 years old. She became a professional musician in her teens. She cited Love Austin as her greatest influence. At the age of 6, Williams was already helping to support her 10 half-brothers and sisters by playing for parties. She began performing publicly at the age of 7, when she became known admiringly as Pittsburgh's The Little Piano Girl of East Liberty. That's a very appropriate name. Career. In 1922, at the age of 14, she was taken to the Orpheum Circuit. The following year, she played with Duke Ellington and his small band, the Washingtonians. One high and learned salute to her talent came when she was only 15. One morning at 3, she was jamming with McKinney's Cotton Pickers at Harlem's Rhythm Club. Louis Armstrong entered the room and paused to listen to her. Mary Lou shyly tells what presently happened. Louis picked me up and kissed me. In 1927, Williams married saxophonist John Williams. She met him at a performance in Cleveland, where he was leading his group, the Syncopators, and moved with him to Memphis, Tennessee. He assembled a band in Memphis, which included Mary Lou on piano. In 1929, he accepted an invitation to join Andy Kirk's band in Oklahoma City, leaving 19-year-old Mary Lou to head the Memphis band for its remaining tour dates. Williams eventually joined her husband in Oklahoma City, but did not play with the band. The group, now known as Andy Kirk's 12 Clouds of Joy, relocated to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Williams spent her free time transporting body opportunities for an undertaker. When the Clouds of Joy accepted the long-standing engagement in Kansas City, Missouri, Williams joined her husband there and began sitting in with the band, as well as serving as its arranger and composer. She provided Kirk with such songs as Walkin' and Swingin', Twinklin', Cloudy, Little Joe from Chicago, and others. From the first signs Kirk made in Kansas City, Williams was on board as a pianist and arranger. Wait, I think that's pronounced pianist, not pianist. Pianist and arranger. 6 sides were recorded in Kansas City during 1929, and remaining 17 sides were recorded in Chicago in 1930, and a further 2 recorded in New York in 1930. During one of those trips to Chicago in 1930, Williams recorded Drag 'Em and Nightlife as piano solos. Williams took the name Mary Lou at the suggestion of Brunswick's Jack Cap. The record sold briskly, raising Williams to national prominence. Soon after the recording session, she signed on with Kirk's permanent second pianist, playing solo gigs and working as a freelance arranger for such noteworthy names as Earl Hines, Benny Goodman, and Tom Dorsey. In 1937, she produced In the Groove, Brunswick, a collaboration with Dick Wilson and Benny Goodman. And Benny Goodman asked Mary to write blues for his band. The result was Roll 'Em, a boogie-woogie piece based on the blues, which followed her successful Camel Hop. Goodman's theme song for his radio show sponsored by Camel cigarettes. Goodman tried to put Williams under a contract to write for him exclusively, but she refused, preferring to freelance instead. Alright, I'll read one more paragraph. In 1942, Williams, who had divorced her husband, left the 12 Clouds of Joy band, returning again to Pittsburgh. She was joined there by bandmate Harold Shorty Baker, with whom she formed a 6-piece ensemble that included Art Blakey on drums. After a lengthy engagement in Cleveland, Baker left to join Duke Ellington's orchestra. Williams joined the band in New York and then traveled to Baltimore, where she and Baker were married. She traveled with Ellington and arranged several tunes for him, including Trumpet No End, 1946, her version of Irving Berlin's Blue Skies. She also sold Ellington on performing Walkin' and Swingin' within a year. She had left Baker and the group and returned to New York. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop reading there. And, wow. Looks like she's made a lot of music. That was a lot more interesting than I thought it was gonna be. Not bad for a random article. Yeah, I still have that. I'll probably pick up on some vocabulary words. And let's see. Oh yeah, there's a lot more vocabulary words I have on the list. I think that worked good. And there was another article. That is on this. I think it's called As Values, Economics, and Gender Patterns Change. This is an article that has a lot of 2012 stats on marriage and children and lots of interesting changes in the United States. Things like the median age when people marry or marry for the first time. Got some divorce rates in there. What never married adults are looking for in a potential spouse. I thought it looked interesting. I will read that article at some point. But as you can tell, the reading of text comes out very slowly, and I try to mix it up. I don't want to have it too continuous or too interesting. Just something to read, filler in a way. But I guess part of me wants, maybe some perfectionist impulse wants it to be from the same materials. Because if I really didn't care, then I wouldn't read things in parts. I would just read random things every time. But for some reason I want to keep going. Obviously for the simulation hypothesis, which I hope people find stimulating if they are listening. I want people to know about that, because I think it's a really strange and kind of cool thing to think about if you like contemplating your existence, which I seem to waste a lot of time doing. And if I forgot a while ago, somebody said they liked the physics stuff, and I was actually looking for that article. I can't find it. But if you have any requests or like a particular type of thing for me to read, probably the drier, the better. Then you can send your request to ASMRSleepStation@gmail. And yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Hopefully I'll make some more recordings soon. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. I don't know. I don't know what else I was going to say. I always try to refrain from hoping too much, but I hope all is well. I definitely hope you got some rest. And I hope you're asleep right now and you're not really listening to this. If you are, thank you. Thanks for downloading. And I will make another recording sometime in the